the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and the Donovan, cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and Donovan. Cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. We're back to SOTS Preshow podcast. Social and political commentary. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's always and forever. That's right. Salt of the streets. Hey, another fantastic episode. Everyday Normal Person's podcast. Salt of the streets. Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat. With everything going on in this nation, we need some information, and that's why salt need to be stationed in your rotation. With real talking, real topics, real people, real problems. Think we need some help to solve them, and leave it up to Colin and Donovan. Cause that's what's that? Let's get ready. We're back to Salt of the Streets podcast. Social and political commentary. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's always and forever. That's right.
Mics are live. Podcast is live.
Hello. Thank you for joining us. This is Salt of the Streets pre-show. My name is Donovan.
I'm Colin.
Thank you again for joining us. We are happy to have you here today in studio once again.
It's been a minute.
Yes, it has been a little while. Obviously, if you guys are regular listeners of the show, then you'll remember last week we just switched things around a little bit. Had a little bit of a dropped a coin. Had a little bit of a migraine situation last week. So
As one does.
As one does.
I'm just glad it didn't morph into, because the migraines and stuff, just the people that I know of that have been, victim of migraines, sometimes it's like they can take like weeks to slowly build up to like a full climax thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about. So when you were like, hey man, I don't know if I was like, nope, shut it down. Doubleheader sounds perfect. Don't be going into full blown mode.
And I've definitely I've had, I know that's a whole bigger deal.
Yeah.
But
you're good. You're feeling good.
we're here. Yeah, we're back in studio now. So again, for a third time, thank you all for joining us. Before I continue, Colin, I do want to ask you what you ate before we got in here today. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things.
Oh, word. I had a nice little scramble with some bacon and some eggs and I bought this loaf of roasted garlic sourdough bread.
Nice.
Sliced up some of those and fried them in the bacon grease. Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
It was pretty good.
Love it. What
about you?
Happy to hear. This morning, what did I have?
What time did you eat? Do you eat at like 5 in the morning?
No, I won't eat that early. During the week, I'll eat a little bit earlier. Now, for a long time, I was doing like the intermittent fasting, and then I started to have issues with my stomach again, and so I had to eat earlier just because my stomach would hurt. So I'll eat, between like 7:30 or 8 now.
That's
which is probably about the same time. If I'm home, I'll just wait until Dax gets up and has breakfast usually.
Yeah.
Unless it goes too long. If he sleeps in, then I'll eat before that. But no, generally I'll just wait till he gets up. It's like 8 o'clock usually for breakfast.
Normal.
Yeah.
Normal.
And then we went to the Cloverleaf last night.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had some pizza this morning.
I'm glad they're still there.
So, me too, man. Me too.
I was worried about them for a while.
Well, I think they probably got a lot of to-go orders during Corona,
Especially because I got that fire pizza, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
So, yeah, it was great. I had some of that before I came here. Delicious.
Oh, yum. What kind of pizza?
Just a pepperoni.
Classic.
Just a classic. Yep, just a standard last night. So.
Was it cold? Do you have cold pizza this morning? Yep. I always have cold pizza the next day, man.
From the box on the counter.
Yeah. Because if you throw it in the microwave or something, that crust gets real chewy, like leather.
Right.
It's not good. If you're gonna reheat pizza, man, you got to do the full on like warm up the oven, throw it in it that way.
Yeah, and the beauty,
don't have time for that.
the true beauty of a Cloverleaf pizza for anybody let's stop here for a second. Anybody who's not from here, right?
Yes.
The Cloverleaf is a bar.
It's an institution.
In Bremerton. Yeah, it's like an old bar, and apparently there's another one in Tacoma or some such shit. I don't know.
That one's gonna be garbage.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The one in Bremerton is where it's at, and so it's very popular. Their pizza is very popular, and the true beauty of a Cloverleaf pizza is the sweetness of the crust, like the crunchy, delicious sweetness that only comes with the caramelization of the oven. You know, so
yeah, they must have like an extra teaspoon of or tablespoon of sugar in that dough or something.
It's really good.
It is. It's good on its own.
Yeah,
a little dipping sauce, bro. Ooh.
Though, and that's like, there are some pizza places that's like the crust is fine, you know, but the Cloverleaf pizza, to get to the crust, you're like, like, I'm here now.
I'm not done with this yet. I'm gonna eat this still because it's a whole nother thing.
It's never a chore to eat the crust of a piece of Cloverleaf pizza.
No.
You know, if you buy it cheap, if you go cheap and get a Domino's pizza, you know, a crust or something, or a Pizza Hut pizza, you're like, that's all right. A DiGiorno pizza, if you're going to go for an oven pizza, you know, the crust is like really not very good.
No,
you know,
that's not the main event.
No, that's not why you're there. But for a Cloverleaf pizza, you're like, this is why I'm here.
Part of the deal.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried about them, man. Like, I heard a stat the other day, and I want to say it was during that Kamala Harris when she laughed at all the parents and shit for the teachers when she was down in Florida. Did you catch that clip?
No.
Oh, maybe we can find it for the regular show, but I think she was
the VP.
Yeah, she's fantastic. But she dropped like a stat that was like, oh yeah, 25% of small businesses are closed.
Jesus Christ.
What? That's a quarter, man. That's a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if that number's pretty close to true, but a lot of bars and restaurants especially, just
the amount of jobs that correlates to, you know, is insane.
We did have a good jobs report coming out this past month, though.
Well, okay, so let's talk
about
that.
A million or just under a million.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, right? Because I was watching the press briefing today, from Friday, I think, and they're talking about, you know, the jobs report, and like, oh, we have, you know, this many new jobs, like, doing this. Like, no, bitch, you're still at a deficit. Like, you have not, and it was the same thing when Donald Trump was in office, that they, like, when jobs started to come back, and they started to tout the amount of new jobs that they had added, and it's like, that's not, so, just before anybody starts talking about, you know, how we're taking shots at Democrats or anything, we said this exact same thing when Donald Trump is in office. You can't, and when the Democrats were trying to take shots at him for the exact same thing, right? That you cannot give yourself credit for jobs that you forced away.
Jake coming here dropping some knowledge. The government shuts down all the small businesses and makes all the big box stores essential, absolutely murdering the American dream for thousands. I would plus that up to say millions of Americans.
Oh, absolutely.
Solid, brother, solid.
Yeah. And so I just had a big problem with the way that it was being phrased as like new jobs, you know what I'm saying, or like jobs creation, or like, I feel like that's not how it should be reported. Like this is a jobs recovery, and in a time where you're still talking about how crippled the nation is and we need all of this, like we have so much recovering left to do. Why are you not talking about that these are the jobs that we're recovering? I almost feel like that plays better from like a public standpoint, that like we've recovered this many jobs, like the economy is recovering, our American recovery plan is in effect, like it's happening. We're recovering these jobs. I feel like that's a better way to sell it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and it's more truthful. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
When you're starting at a negative 100, going up to negative 90 is a good thing, but you're still at negative 90.
Yeah.
But nobody's gonna. They're never gonna frame it like that. They'll never say it. They'll look at the percentage of growth and be like, "This is magnificent growth. We've never seen growth like this in America." Well, yeah. That's what happens when you're kneecapped.
When you've lost more jobs than you ever have in America. Of course you've never seen growth like this before. Yeah. That's like the GDP growth and shit. You know, they're like 3%, 6%. You're like, no shit.
Yeah,
like,
it should be more like 30 maybe. That would be a good
down
recovery.
25. Like that makes sense. It's just right, and it's not like I don't understand why they're doing it, but it's
disingenuous, and they're basically lying to you.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I said, now that we've examined it a little bit more, I almost feel like it's not as good of a way to sell it.
No.
And it's like, why are we not getting paid six-figure salaries to, you know, come up with PR plans for this type of shit? Because we just did a better job in 5 minutes.
That's right.
So.
Mazie Hirono and what's her name wouldn't vote for you anyways.
Tammy Duckworth?
Tammy Duckworth, because you're not a.
'Cause I'm not Asian?
Yep, because you're not a diversity hire.
Well, I'm Mexican, but I don't look Mexican. That's got to be.
You don't rank high enough, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what the percentage is
Yeah.
for that.
That was probably one of the fastest walkbacks I've ever seen.
I caught it in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm always on Twitter, like, before I get in the shower, you know what I'm saying, going to the bathroom before. And so I'm on Twitter for a little bit, and I caught that. The stories were still new, and I was like, this is racist as fuck. Like, this is definitely racist. Like, there is no denying that saying you will not vote for somebody who is not a minority. You can't argue that's not racist. There's no way to argue it's not racist, you know?
But it's
And it took less
anti-racist.
Exactly. It took less than a day for that to be completely flipped.
That was a quick one. That was faster than Pete Buttigieg turning around saying, like, oh, gas tax by the mile? Never mind. I didn't mean that. I was just saying that's a way.
That was pretty funny, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about that with Larry, I think, just the day before.
Yeah.
And then he was being interviewed the next day. He was like, well, let's be clear. Like, we're not doing that, you know? I just said that it was something that we had looked at and showed a lot of promise and, you know, was something we could potentially implement into something.
Oh, man.
Excuse me.
So I promised the people in our description that we'd more or less keep things light in the pre-show because of. So I wanted.
We've already lied to you.
I wanted to bring a fun story up real quick, and I kicked myself in the butt because I didn't see any of this when it was happening. But I'm pretty sure Denzel tweeted about it, or it was on his Instagram or something about the night last week, or no, it was a couple weeks ago, where there was what looked like a meteorite breaking up in the atmosphere over Portland and Seattle. Apparently, we could have seen it from here if we knew to look. And everybody thought it was a meteorite, blah, blah, blah. No. It was the remains of one of the Falcon 9 rockets from the Starlink launch that they did a while back. And it was the stage of the rocket that disconnects, that had the payload of satellites in it, that was meant to come down and burn up in the atmosphere.
It did not burn up in the
atmosphere. It did not fully burn up in the atmosphere, and we
got
some pictures of a giant piece here.
I saw a picture of that on the news yesterday just before I left.
I can show the people.
Oh my God, look at that. So that's what we're talking about.
Isn't that wild? It landed in Grant County. Wild stuff, man.
Just so you guys are aware of the production value that we're working with here.
That's right.
We're really
show
stepping
you my
things
computer
up.
Screen, baby.
That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. So then we could talk about posts and shit like that we've done.
Right? We could pull anything up.
Yeah.
As long as if it exists on the internet, we can show it to the people. Which we're going to plan on doing during the regular show.
It's a dangerous proposition to make.
Right? What kind of workload am I working myself into?
Exactly.
But, like today when we talk about the migrant crisis, I think it's important that we show some of the pictures and the videos from that.
Yes.
So we'll do
Project
some of that stuff
Veritas
today.
and shit. Yeah, we'll go to their Twitter and
we'll pull up some of that
then
stuff.
Then you're allowed to have Twitter open.
There you go. Sometimes it serves a purpose, trying to find old tweets or something.
Let's see. I have some pre-show stuff in here.
Tell me about the story about your shoes, though. Or are you saving that one for the...
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Okay. So... yesterday, I have these white shoes on. I'll take one off so everybody can see. I'll actually take the one off that I fucked up yesterday so everyone can see it. So these are my shoes. When I was growing up,
see that.
Yeah, you can't really see it in here, but there's a coffee stain there. So when I was growing up, we didn't really have that much money, right? And so I didn't have. Hey, will you go to your bed, please? I know
Show dog is just smelling his feet.
So we didn't really have that much money, so I didn't have like really nice clothes, but I always had a pair of nice sneakers that I could wear when we went somewhere. And once I got to be, I don't know, like 13 or something, then they were just white sneakers. So I always had a pair of like white sneakers that I kept in the box that I would only take out when we were going to go somewhere, you know?
Yep.
And then when I got older, hey, you got to go lay down. I love you so much, but you got to go lay down.
I feel like in my house we called them like you had your play shoes and then your nice shoes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and I got shoes like once a year, you know?
Yeah.
And so the other ones I had to kind of keep legit for a while. And so once I get older, now I just have a pair of white shoes all the time. That's like I have dress shoes now, you know, but I also
it's a good look too. A nice clean sneak is always nice,
exactly.
man.
And I have been able to keep them relatively clean. I've had these ones. I got them for myself right after Christmas, so I've had them for like 3 months now.
Yeah, I remember when we were working together, like seeing you like
yes
turn out the day and just, when you get a second, just clean up the shoes.
Yes.
And, yeah, you got to do that.
I'll
Otherwise they
even
get brown real quick.
The first couple weeks, I'll even carry them into work and then put them on when I get in there, so that I don't scuff them outside, like to keep them
Smart
pristine.
man.
Break them in a little bit, and then I'll start wearing them outside. Especially if I get them for Christmas, because it's all rainy and shit for the first couple months. So.
Jake says, oh my God, that was hot.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a summer thing. Anyway, so I went to the rec store last night, take advantage of the happy hour, carrying a cup of coffee out to my car. Saw some of it spill, but it was dark in the alley, and I was like, oh, it was fine. And then I got into the rec store.
Like the rec store's in a dark alley.
No, the alley that I parked the truck in.
Yeah.
And so I went to get into my truck, and I was walking too fast and spilled some coffee, and I didn't think anything of it. And then I got into the rec store, and as I'm paying, I noticed that I had the coffee on my shoe, and I was like, fuck, I spilled coffee on my shoe. And I just kind of said it out loud, and the girl, Brittany is her name, because she didn't have asked me my name, said, like, if they have character now, which at first I really did not appreciate. I did not think that was funny. I didn't think it was cute. I didn't like it at all. And I don't remember.
She's like, I was like, with me.
I was like, well, I've had these for like 3 months. Like, I've been doing a good job. And she was like, it gives them character, right? And so then she went on this whole thing about how she had this bag for a long time. It was like her favorite bag that she spilled coffee on it. She was like, and a year ago I would have been really upset that, now it's ruined and like it doesn't look good anymore. She's like, but now I feel like people will just see that. Like, I love it, and it's my favorite bag, and that's why it looks like this. And so I was listening to her for several minutes, like probably 2 or 3 minutes, go on about this thing. And I was like, the whole time I'm thinking, like, Jordan is really going to appreciate, like, this. Like, what you're saying, my wife is really going to appreciate that you said this to me. And she ends up saying, like, she's like, so there's probably some, like, larger reason that you spilled coffee on your shoe. And there's some larger reason that I'm here telling you that, like, that, they have character now.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, like, I'll take that. I'll consider it, and I'll work with it. Yeah. And she's like, but you could be upset. She's like, because you're also rocking it, I was like, so I feel that. Yeah. So,
that's
I
pretty good.
told Jordan about it on the way home. She did appreciate that. She was like, she's probably right. You're probably correct. Like, yeah, whatever. So it was pretty funny. So shout out to Brittany. I am wearing my stained shoes again today. So.
Okay.
Obviously wasn't
Get some character, baby.
That much. I also figured out this week, I think I've really finally figured out my notes method is index cards at work.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then larger notes in the Bible. And then color coordinate them, the two things, with highlighters the night before.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
I like
Don't
it.
sweat the small things. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Exactly. So it's a coffee stain about the size of a quarter. One of those things.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm living with it. They're all small things.
It's all small things.
Deal. They're all small things.
Amen, brother. Amen. Oh, man.
Let's see.
So I just want to tell you about one thing because this
Yes.
week has been just one body blow after another for me.
Yes.
But
Get
I
body.
finally pulled the trigger on getting HBO Max.
Okay, word.
Right?
Did you watch the Snyder Cut?
That is not on my priority list.
What the fuck? Hold on. Hold the phone.
Go ahead.
The Snyder Cut has to be on your priority list because I had a fucking migraine last week and I still watched the Snyder Cut at the end of the week when I could watch TV. That's what I watched when I could stomach watching TV was the fucking Snyder Cut. And let me tell you.
4 hours, right?
Like
Close to?
Like just over 4 hours.
Hot
right?
dog.
Broken up into like 6 different. It's all one movie, but they're like, different title screens come up for like different segments.
Okay. Kind of like different acts or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I obviously watched the original DC movies when they first came out, and they were shit. And we talked about them on here, and I talked about how they were shit. And then I talked about Batman versus Superman not too long ago.
You're selling this to me.
Again.
Hard.
Because it was shit. This movie
is not.
Was like legit good. Like actually legitimately good from a movie standpoint. All of the characters get their own time so that they seem like real people instead of just fucking a bunch of dudes and a woman shoved into a group so they can try and fight somebody. They made the bad guy look better. Everything makes way more sense.
Which character is the bad guy?
The main bad guy is Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
Yes. I'm not
fan.
a DC guy, so I can't provide too much context. But then
Mhm.
Darkseid, who is like a big DC bad guy, is in kind of a larger role. Not in prominence, but as far as
He's the
like,
Thanos in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And so Steppenwolf is acting on the part of Darkseid this whole time, trying to get Darkseid to come to Earth, putting the mother boxes together. Did you ever watch the original Justice League?
No.
Oh my god. Okay.
Not a DC
Which
guy.
is fine. Well, and that's the original Justice League wasn't good. Like, it wasn't a good movie at all. And then I don't know what possessed me to rewatch Batman versus Superman. I couldn't tell you, but I was like, I really want to watch this again.
Mhm.
And I paid to rent it. I paid $4 to rent it on Amazon,
Oof.
and I watched it 2 times over the 3 days or whatever that you get to rent it. Shit, watched it 2 times just to verify that it
it's
was
still bad.
shit, and it was shit. Yeah.
I've done that with movies though, and sometimes I've been pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
You know, like what was the one I watched? Oh, come on! Recently, maybe it'll come to me. It was a movie I thought was terrible the first time around, and then the second time I was like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but
So what did you watch on HBO Max?
I watched Godzilla versus Kong.
Okay, how was
So
it?
it
I
was
haven't watched.
Glorious.
I watched a Godzilla movie, like the first Godzilla movie of this
with the
new
kick-ass
string.
kid.
Yeah,
all
but I
growed up.
haven't watched any of the King Kong movies.
Oh, they're great. Okay, they're
Um,
great. They're so good
Are they?
because they're not like the Matthew Broderick version in the 90s. You know, that was a totally separate kind of side story thing that they just kind of made up on their own.
Yeah.
And I rewatched that.
That
relatively
Godzilla wasn't
recently.
bad, right?
Not now.
It's not good.
Don't watch it again.
Oh, okay.
If
That
you
one
have
came out when
fond
I was a
memories
kid,
of
and I
it,
remember that. Yeah.
yep. Because it's
It's not good.
It's not good.
Oh no.
It's really, really bad. But, for what it is, it's fine. But anyways, yeah, so what they did though is they're taking like the old school Japanese story of Godzilla with all the different Titan monsters and all that stuff with it, and they're essentially redoing them in a more contemporary version. So the first Godzilla was it's kind of a standalone one that they did. I mean, it's all tied in
And
together.
that one had
but
Bryan Cranston in it, right?
it did have Bryan
Is
Cranston
he
in
still
it.
in it?
No, he dies
No?
in that
Oh,
movie.
he dies in that
yeah,
one. Okay.
Pretty
Oh,
early
right.
on.
And his kid is in the army.
Yep.
And he survives like all of those impossible things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an EOD guy and goes through this whole thing and makes it through
Like
the whole
the
movie.
bridge collapse or something, and he's
Oh,
somehow
yeah.
like
On the train and
I'm
the bridge
here.
collapse and he
Yeah. Okay.
wakes up totally covered in mud. But that movie's
Yes.
still solid. I went
Okay.
back and I watched that one.
Are all
and
of
then-
those on HBO Max? I'm sorry to keep interrupting you. But
Yeah.
the Godzillas and King Kongs.
I believe
are those
so.
all on?
I believe so.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
They would
'cause
provide the backstory.
And they're on multiple platforms too. I know I've bought a couple of them too on my Amazon. But I watched that one, and then I watched Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is also great because it brings in like Mothra and
He fights
Rodan
Mothra in that
and-
one, and so in
Mothra is actually like his girlfriend in that one. And
Really?
helps him defeat. Oh gosh, what's the 3-headed monster's name? But the big baddie is that 3-headed dragon in that movie.
Really?
Yeah. What's the name of it? It's like.
And this is played out like it's like in a real world thing. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And you watch Stranger Things, right?
Yeah. So the government is trying to like
Bobby Millie Brown or Millie Bobby
figure out
Brown.
what they're gonna do about the monsters and shit. Like
Well, we
that's a
have
factor.
a corporation known as Monarch that's been around since way back in the day when they were doing nuclear tests and all this stuff, which is when
Is that
Godzilla
when
first
the two
started to
little
show
girls
up.
controlled Mothra? Is that?
No.
But that's what like the OG like the
I think
old
old school.
was like
Yeah.
2 little girls that sang and controlled Mothra, right? Like
I
that's,
believe so. I'll
that's
have to
not
go
how-
back into
that's
my
not
old
the
school
story in
movies.
this one.
No.
Oh.
No, this one it's all like scientific and noise based and stuff like that.
But yeah, say that.
Yeah, Godira.
There you go.
That's what I was just pulling that up, dude. But yeah, it's so badass. Let's pull this up. Godzilla. Not a day goes by where I do not consult IMDb
Not a
about
day
something.
goes by.
But yeah, what's her name? Millie Bobby Brown, the girl
Yes.
from Stranger Things, plays 11. She's in that one of the main characters. Her and her parents are trying to figure out a way to kind of like control the Titans and stuff like that because they're all getting activated. And in a big, nice little story twist, her mom's kind of like trying to wake them up and bring balance back to the world, all this stuff. They introduced the concept of the hollow earth theory. which is all where like the Titans came from, was deep
The
down
core
like
of the earth.
yes.
And they've dug their way out.
Yes, they've tunneled their way out, and they're being activated for all these different, reasons. As
What?
as nuclear power and all this stuff comes online, the whole old school storyline of Godzilla and stuff is all it's kind of a tree hugger story, because it's like they're the Earth's defense system fighting against like the humans to make sure that we don't destroy the planet.
Are you serious?
Word. Yeah. You gotta watch these movies. They're great movies. But anyways, so there's that one, King of the Monsters.
Okay.
Right, where Godzilla asserts his dominance as the alpha, and he's like the protector.
Beats down the other.
Oh yeah, and there's like
Godzilla's
all the old
protecting
ones.
the people. That's what. Okay.
Ghidorah, that's how you say it. King Ghidorah, the three-headed King Ghidorah. That's
And so
the giant.
Godzilla is acting against its nature.
Well, kind of.
Protecting
It's
people.
it's kind of a
instead destroying
complicated.
people.
It's kind of a
Yo,
complicated
Mothra
story.
Looks scary as fuck.
Mothra looks dope. That's not truly. These are like concept art.
Oh.
We could show the people what we're looking at here. These are all concept art from that, but it looks closer to that.
Jordan's sister last night. This is.
And there's
random.
look at that.
That's
Boom.
sick.
That's so badass.
Jordan's sister last night was
Uh-huh.
wearing these earrings. This is relevant, and then we'll go right back to it. She was wearing these earrings that were fucking moth wings.
That is badass.
Yes, moth's wings.
Kelly
encased
would
in
not
some
touch
type
those.
of- It was
She's
pretty
terrified
weird.
of
Yeah,
moths.
it looked almost like a rock. It looked like just a thin slice of like a geode.
That's so dope.
They were very fucking cool. I was a huge fan. So we'll buy some for Caroline and just not tell her what they are.
There you
And
go.
then when she's already got them on, we'll be like, "They're moth wings."
Ah!
Yeah, we'll just see
That'll
what's up.
be a good
Does she
one.
not like things that flutter? Is that
No, butterflies are like she's fine with butterflies. It's just
Specifically
moths.
moths.
Yeah,
That's weird.
Maybe it's because they're fuzzy. I don't know. But
they are fucking creepy looking though, especially when they have the antennas. With,
Yeah.
yeah,
and the bigger they get, the more you can see. And you're like,
Yes.
oh, you're creepy looking.
yeah. With all those lights on the outside of the
Yeah.
Bennick, we get some crazy.
Oh, hard,
moths
yeah,
that
the
you're
big
like,
fat
yeah,
ones,
you're
yeah.
like,
We get a couple of
"What
those.
are you doing here?"
Old Sid Rain can attest. We see some of those at the office every now and again. Be walking up like the back deck and stuff, and
Yeah.
all of us, walk by and there'll be this thing just plastered on the side of the building. Like,
Do
oh
you
crap!
smack it or something? Or
No,
like,
just
you
leave it. It's fine.
Yeah,
It
they
ain't
freak
bother
me
me
out a little
none.
bit. I'll say that. I'll own that.
So, anyways, let's get my movies right.
Yeah,
my
sorry.
movies, very important. I've ran through all these, and then Kong Skull Island is based right after Vietnam, so that's the one that's like back in the day.
Is that the one that has Jack Black in it?
No.
Okay.
No, not to be confused with the original King Kong. It
Oh,
does
and
have Jack
Is
Black.
that one completely disconnected from these ones?
Yeah, that's
Not
more
canon.
the old school, like American
Oh, okay.
King Kong version. But in this one, it's what's his name? The guy, 10 Cloverfield Lane, Big Lebowski, John Goodman.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like the Jack
Fucking
Black
love John
character in
Goodman.
that one. It's great.
love John Goodman.
But that one, they go to Skull Island and they discover Kong, and then that's when they really go, oh, there's this Hollow Earth thing, and that's where these bad monsters are coming from, blah, blah, blah.
So do they find the hole that King Kong came out of?
No. In the new movie, they
find
do.
the hole that he came out
Yeah.
of.
And that's Godzilla vs. King Kong is essentially the two alphas on the surface can't coexist. They have to fight each other.
And someone dies at the end of this movie?
No spoilers.
Ah!
Actually, I'll spoil it. That's fine. But no. Things die, but it's probably not who you think it's going to be.
Word.
We'll put it that way, right?
I
But
really
that one's great because then all of a sudden, not anywhere in the previews, nothing like that, like Mechagodzilla shows up.
Really?
Word. That surprised the shit out of me. I was so excited about
Is
it.
that like
It's so good.
whatever this corporation is? Did they make Mechagodzilla to be
Mhm.
like, nah,
It's
nah,
like
we're gonna control this now?
It's like a competing corporation that did it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're trying to like weaponize things.
Shadow
They
Corp.
Yeah, they basically built like an AI powered Gundam suit.
Oh,
But
really?
it's a Godzilla. It
Does he
looks
still
like
have
Godzilla.
like rocket fingers?
He's got all sorts of fucking missiles and cannons and
That's
lasers, and it's pretty dope.
The rocket fingers
So good.
specifically.
I don't know if they did the rocket fingers. I'll have to go back and rewatch
Like
it.
a turning hand.
Yeah. But like they had him like on his all over his body. It'd be a little compartment opens up and like 12 missiles would come out
That's
and like
fucking cool.
smash into Godzilla, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm pissed, but I'm still
Oh,
Godzilla."
I'm pissed.
But it was great, man. So over the last month, I've been trying to watch these movies in preparation
Oh,
for
okay.
this to come out, and it finally did over on HBO Max because they're doing that same day release thing.
Right.
at the end of this month, we got Mortal Kombat coming out,
Yeah.
which looks more or less like a straight remake of the original one, which
Nice.
is rather exciting to me because they could do it a lot better.
Yeah.
But that's that, and I watched Lincoln. I rewatched
That's a fucking
it, right?
great movie.
Because the first time I watched it, I kind of had it up here on the big screen in the background, and I just found myself watching it more than I was doing whatever I was doing. And then at the end of it, I was like, man, I gotta watch it. It's fully focused, and it's so good, man.
I've watched it probably
So many good movies going on right now.
probably a dozen times.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
it's fantastic.
Daniel Day-Lewis is my favorite actor by far. There Will Be Blood is top 5 movie for me.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, good Christ!
Because there's
Colin.
so many good Daniel Day-Lewis movies. It's
Good
hard for me to
Christ.
pick, and I'm like, well, I haven't seen that one, but I know I like Gangs of New York. Let's watch that one.
There Will Be Blood is like the vast majority of it is him. Like
Yeah.
he is the main character.
Good.
Other people are continuously killed and disappear and shit. Like so he is like the focus of the movie. It's fucking so good.
I'm on it.
It's so good.
Well, if I can fit it in tomorrow night, maybe I'll watch that.
When I
I
got
gotta
my
do some work tomorrow. Ew.
I know.
Boo.
When I got my new phone, double phone.
Show the people the double
Swag in, everybody. Here, I'll open it up. And
Look
we'll
at
get
that.
A little boop. Turn on the dual screen. A little double action. What?
Caroline and I were talking about this yesterday real quick.
Yes.
We call it the double phone.
Yeah.
What is it called, like the split phone, or what does the industry call it?
This is technically called the dual screen.
The dual
It's
screen.
like, well, yeah, it's a dual screen because there's also like Samsung, I think, has a phone that folds. There's
Yeah,
one
it's
that
seamless
folds
or
right in
whatever.
half. Yeah, and then Windows.
But you could still see the seam on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, and then Windows has a phone that folds like this. Like
Oh, yeah,
top
the
half
little
that
flip
folds
thing.
like
Yeah,
that,
that's
yeah.
stupid.
And then
That's dumb.
well, there's two different Windows phones. There's one that's like wide, that's probably like this wide.
Oh,
that,
it's almost.
that opens up into like a small tablet, like an iPad Mini almost. And so your
Ooh.
whole phone
I could almost
is
get down
fucking
with that.
this big,
Yeah.
which is it's Windows. You know what I'm saying? So there's
Mm.
no problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a little bit smaller than this, probably like this big, just so everyone can see it. and it
go smaller.
and then it flips open like that. Yeah, so you have a whole. This thing obviously is huge. I do fuck with it though.
Oh yeah, man! You
so-
were like taking the screenshot while we were doing
Yeah,
that. It was
that's
super
so. That's
cool.
I have found a lot of uses for it. I also told Shane Cleveland the other day. I was like, I feel like this just screams power. Like if you're walking up to me and I'm doing two different things at one time, and you're like, oh hey, and I'm like, hold on just 1 second.
I'm a power broker.
Okay, what's good? Like if I gotta close my shit and then say what's good, that's power. Like I'm obviously doing something right now. You know what I'm saying? It just feels hard. So I like that. I also had to go to a 5G plan. So if my head explodes, maybe it's the migraines. Maybe that's why I have these migraines is 5G. Who knows?
I mean, every time you come over here, our Wi-Fi is 5G.
So maybe
might
that's I'm
explain it.
directly in between this and the
Yep.
computer. That might be it.
She is hardwired though, thankfully.
Who knows?
indeed.
Anyway, I had to get to a 5G plan, and I got HBO Max for free as part of my new 5G plan. So I was like, oh, that's what's up. So we watched the Snyder Cut because I
Yeah.
was like, oh, well, we have it now. So
Well, if you say I have to, then I
you
shall.
definitely have to watch the Snyder Cut, and I'll watch these Godzilla movies at work this
They're so
next
good,
week.
bro. They're so good.
Yeah, because we'll be in an off week. So
Perfect.
I definitely consume way more like pop culture shit
Mhm.
in the off week than in
Oh,
the
yeah.
week leading up to the show. So yeah, I'll watch these movies. I could probably knock them all out in one day.
Yeah,
at
probably.
work.
Yeah, they're usually
Um,
like 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah.
And they're fun.
I still like to hit, like the daily podcast. Like I'll still watch Rising, and I'll
Yeah.
watch some Shapiro and Steven Crowder if he's able to be on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, and then I'll listen to like the couple of morning podcasts.
I wonder
I'm
what
more
the
liberal with my deletion of them though.
because IMDb's given King of the Monsters Godzilla only 6 out of 10. I wonder what they're giving Godzilla versus Kong.
What would you give it?
Oh, it's probably the worst out of them.
Oh, really?
Honestly, just because it's kind of so over the top. But
no.
at the end of the day, I mean, King Kong and Godzilla are having a fist fight essentially, jumping on top of like Navy carriers and like
Really?
big cargo ships in the ocean and stuff. But you're going, okay, all right, but what are we doing here? But whatever, it's cool. It's cool. I'll
That's
give it
really
to 'em,
funny.
But that, and I started watching that. I went back and watched Avengers: Age of Ultron.
That's a good one.
It was a good
Ultron's
one.
a good one,
I
dude.
forgot about that because it
Yeah.
was pretty good because we started watching the Falcon and the Winter Soldier
How was that?
show. First episode was pretty solid. The second episode
You
was...
don't sound impressed.
It was not
You
good.
do not
The
sound
second
impressed.
episode was not good. And, I get it. It's apparently the most popular show in the world right now. Just replaced that anime Attack on Titan. But it's a Marvel movie basically, just strung out over probably 10 hours. I imagine it'll be probably 10 episodes or something like that. But I mean, it is what it is.
They're supposed to release or debut 3 new Marvel properties, shows and movies in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
So they're gonna feature a bunch of new shit that they're gonna turn into movies and whatnot.
Here's something right here from them talking about the Loki. Looks like they
Yeah,
got something with
Loki's
Loki
gonna have
coming
his
out.
own show, which I think Christian Bale is gonna be in actually.
Oh, that's not gonna suck.
Yeah, Christian Bale's gonna be in the Loki show. Hopefully he'll be screaming at some more people.
Hopefully.
Have you ever heard that audio before?
No. Oh yeah, of him freaking out.
What the fuck are you doing?
It was like a real version of what Tom Cruise did during his COVID freak out.
I couldn't listen to the Tom Cruise thing. I don't really like Tom Cruise. I was like, I can't listen to this guy berate somebody for something I don't believe.
We're trying to save lives here.
Yeah.
All right? People out there suffering, and we get to work. So be professional. It was this whole thing, and you're like, all right, that could be real,
Yeah.
but it also could be not real.
That's
But-
awesome.
But it was, that was a whole lot of thing. Anyways,
Jordan fucking hates Tom Cruise.
I mean, I like Tom Cruise's movies.
Yeah.
He's one of those people. I got to have a hard cut. I don't think about what he does in his off time because I know
Yeah.
he's a crazy Scientologist
Why?
that's got some weird stuff going on. But I like a lot of his movies.
I just feel like he's not convincing. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Tom Cruise is not beating anybody's ass. Especially not all these dudes in all these movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Mission Impossible movies, I can't get into
Come on.
those.
Yeah.
Those,
Come
after the second one, you're like, all right, what are we doing here? What are we doing? The first one,
It's a little much.
oh, man, that's a rough movie to try to watch in today's day and age, because it's a spy movie, obviously.
Yeah.
And they got all this fancy tech and all this. You're like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
There's no way that any of this would be good. But anyways, I'm excited. I'm gonna be watching. I'm excited the fact that I've learned to take a page out of your book and just watch movies bits at a time if I need to, just to keep it flowing.
Let's talk about this. Unless you were leading into something.
No.
Okay. Earlier this week, Jordan got the cookie order, right? So she's doing the cookies. I'm sitting. We turned the TV off or came home or something. I turned the TV on and turned Netflix off, and so it was just cable. And there was a show on that I haven't done any more research on, but from what I've gathered, I think that I actually caught the premiere of this show, and it's called Pooch Perfect.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Okay, cool. So this show is a competition, much like a
Rebel
baking
Wilson?
competition. Yes, hosted by Rebel Wilson, in which people are grooming dogs. And then the styles, I watched one round just as I'm sitting there after Dax goes to bed, hitting my pen a little bit, spacing out, doing whatever, probably fucking doing research, talking to you and Larry, and these people are grooming dogs, and the theme is a heart dog. They have to something having to do with hearts,
Yeah.
And so this dude, I'm so glad I remembered to talk about this.
This is so
This
exciting.
guy walks up, and he's wearing a cheetah print coat, and he puts this little white dog down, and
It's just got an ad for the double phone, by the way.
there it is. And the dog has 3 hearts on its ass. One kind of on its back, and the other 2 are definitely on its ass. And
Out
so-
of the fur.
Yeah, shaved into the fur and then dyed pink,
boy.
on this white dog.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, well, I had another dog that I think was the same breed as this dog that he had groomed, and it's I had it for a long time, and this dog was my heart, It's and it got stolen out of my yard, and
Stole your dog?
it was my soulmate. That dog was my soulmate, and after it was stolen, I was able to meet my person's soulmate, and then like his partner was standing next to him and was like, and that's like my partner, and so that's why I shaved these hearts into this dog's ass. Yeah, so the whole thing, like 10 dudes, 10 people, not like 10 dudes, but 10 people. Yeah, all groomed dogs in different fashions that had to do with. And I was like, this is where we're at now? It's a fucking dog
peaked?
grooming competition? Dude.
Peak decadence right there.
It's like...
Brings a whole new definition to the term toy breed.
And as I'm watching it,
This is an animal, man. What are you doing to this thing?
Okay, right? So the next round starts. I don't remember what their mission was. This is what you got to do. Here's your new dog. So somewhere, they've got just a room full of 40 fucking dogs because they're going to do 3 rounds of this shit for all these people. And they get a new dog every time.
And is it one of them elimination things? Like every round
That's
somebody gets
how
eliminated?
it seemed to be, yes. And so 30 dogs because someone's going to go home every time. There's
Yeah.
still a room full of 30 dogs that are going to get fucking shaved up. So I'm watching it. The dogs are getting bathed and shaved, and they're not fighting, but the dogs are obviously not pleased with what's happening.
Yeah.
They don't look happy about it. And you can tell when a dog is upset and not upset.
Yep.
And it's, like I said, they're not fighting. They're not, like, aggressive or anything, but they're just, like obviously not happy with what's going on, shaving these dogs, dyeing them and shit. Like, where's PETA?
Exactly.
Where are
Where's
the
PETA?
animal rights activists to stop this? Because these dogs have no fucking say in what's happening here. Like, and they're just shaving them and painting them and doing whatever the fuck they want with them. Like, this seems really fucked up. Like, this seems dark to me.
Yeah, because
Just don't care.
there needs to be a documentary about what's going on behind the scenes with that. Because it could be
It's-
something cool where they're like taking shelter animals, and that way, they get a
And
nice
that's
cleaning,
Full
whatever.
disclosure, I didn't watch the whole show, obviously. After this round
This
started
is
and
just
they're doing
fascinating.
those dogs, like, I gotta stop. Like, I can't watch this anymore.
Wow.
So I don't know. It's very possible they could have gone over all that in the beginning, that, like, these are all shelter dogs, like you said, that need to be whatever. I don't think any dog needs 3 hearts on its ass.
Is there a studio
So-
audience involved?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, because that might be a thing. Like, maybe if you want
No,
to be
no
an
one was
audience
wearing
member.
a mask either. So,
Heaven forbid. Hey, well, IMDb's got it rated 2.8 out of 10, baby. That's a
it was
rough
that
one.
good. So
Hell,
we'll see if it makes it out of its. I'm sure they, order like 5 episodes or something like that to start.
Yeah.
So, 10 professional dog stylists as they compete in a series of themed challenges to transform their beloved pets. The winner will take home $100,000 as a prize.
yeah, we've reached peak.
Come
I
on.
think we've done it.
Like,
There's only one way to go from here,
What
man.
are we doing here?
If we had a food eating competition where you just sit there, eat as much as you can, and then throw up in a bucket, that's probably the actual peak. This is just getting dangerously close.
It's really bad.
Well,
So,
I wonder
if
what
anybody,
network is it on?
if anybody happens to
You
catch
say
it,
it's on Netflix?
no,
No.
it was on regular cable.
TV.
I turned off Netflix, like on the TV. I just pressed exit, and Netflix
Wow.
closed, and so it just goes to the next source, which was cable. Excuse me. And so that's what was on
What was it called?
whatever Pooch Perfect
Pooch Perfect.
on
Oh my
whatever
God.
channel it was.
I
So if
take
anybody,
it she was in.
PETA slams Rebel Wilson.
Boom.
Boom, calls it dangerous for dogs. Okay, what I'm fucking saying,
What's
right?
up, PETA?
Isn't that so weird? I'm like, how did this even get to air? How did it even get to air? PETA puts it on ABC's Pooch Perfect Dogs as not here for human amusement. Oh, what the fuck I'm saying? Like, that seems so weird. To just take all these dogs and just shave them up and do whatever the fuck you want. Like,
Watch it on ABC.
that's really weird, right?
Wow.
Yes. Okay. So there's PETA. Here we are.
Whoop,
That's
whoop.
again. That's on me. I didn't look up any articles, after this because I was like,
why?
I was going to talk
Just
about
don't
this
waste your
on the
brain
show.
space.
But I assumed, obviously, I just was like, they can't know, or something has to happen, or else it wouldn't have got here. Also, look at Rebel Wilson.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What happened?
she's like a third of the size that she once was.
Oh, it's time to start skinny shaming her.
We were. She's too skinny now. Just
She
like
needs- if she doesn't get the Adele
just like
treatment,
Adele.
I'm not
Just like
okay.
Adele. Just like
Come on.
Adele.
That's awesome, though. I'm glad to see that. That's good.
The
That
way
is
she
so
was
good.
standing at first, she was like wearing a jacket and stuff, kind of like that,
Mm-hmm.
but like behind something. And I was like, babe, did Rebel Wilson lose weight? And she's like, oh yeah, she lost a ton of weight. So we talked about that for a minute.
So coming from New York Post,
Yes.
PETA has, they say, quote, "Dogs are not props for entertainment. The dogs look miserable, and it feels cruel."
Yes.
I mean,
I concur. Having watched one round of this show, I concur.
we got to get away from that concept of, like, pets or things, though. Like, there's a hair of truth with PETA on this one, man. No, this is an animal, man.
Yeah.
We've got this relationship, this domesticated relationship with these animals. Nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about that. Evolution has done that for us. But let
We're
them be
here
an
now.
animal, man. Let them be
Yeah.
an animal. I mean, take care of them, get them their meds, their vaccinations, do the whole thing. But, I mean, I don't know.
I learned.
I don't know.
We have a friend, Kaylee, who when she lived here, right? She lived in
Yeah.
Florida. When she lived here, she worked at the animal hospital for a long time, and she told us, I'm sure your wife has told you the same thing, that like technically, your animals are your property.
Yep.
Because there has to be some way to like legally classify it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But
That's
it's-
right, Chloe. You're my property.
I tell Penny that all the time. I literally own you. I own you. Yeah, she doesn't like that very much, but she doesn't like the disrespect that comes
Right.
with it.
Right.
But yes, this seems like it's taken a little bit too far. That people are like, "Oh, well, it's my dog. Like I can do whatever I want with it." You know. Like also,
You
it
can't.
looks not happy. You
Yeah.
know. I can also do whatever I want with my dog, but
Yeah, who
I choose to
greenlit
walk
this
her
thing?
off a leash because she has a better time. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, all right, people love dogs and animals on Instagram.
Yeah.
They're going to love this. That's exactly how much thought probably went into that. Some
Dark.
executive going, hey, it's one of the most popular things on Instagram and
So-
Twitter. Boom.
Hashtag cancel pooch perfect.
Hashtag cancel pooch perfect.
Yeah.
Where's
You
my
guys
Twitter? I'm
are-
gonna tweet that.
Cancel pooch
Oh,
perfect.
that's great.
Yeah. Speaking of walking dogs, like I said, we've been walking the dog lately.
Mhm.
You know, the last couple of days, I've had the full carrier on. I put the placard back on there, radio pouch on there. I think I got to move to the other side, unless I got to get a different antenna to run it up because it's just the antenna that really fucks with like my sling and stuff like that. I can run it up.
I take it you take your
run it.
your med kit. What is that called? IFAC?
Mhm.
IFAC. You take that off? 'Cause I
No.
always see that kind of hangs out pretty.
It does, yeah. And my belt was a little bit loose yesterday. I think that I've lost a little bit of weight on accident, so my belt was a little bit loose yesterday. So I got to tighten it down a little bit. I'm also going to get. There's a company called Faro Concepts that makes a piece of equipment called a dangler.
A dangler.
Yeah, Ferro. It's Ferro.
Oh.
Yeah. And yeah, it's called a dangler. And so you Velcro it into the bottom panel of your plate carrier and it hangs down below it. So you can put,
Okay.
Yep, the gray right there.
Right there. So
Yep.
it sits down there.
Yes, down there it hangs just below your plate carrier.
Oh, there you
Yep,
go.
just like that.
Very cool.
And so a lot of people will put their IFAC in there instead.
I just call that a clutch pouch.
I've done a lot of thinking as I'm, doing
It's
like
a tactical fanny pack.
a tactical fanny pack. As I'm putting different things in there, thinking about what I'm putting on there, I'm thinking about the context in which I would use it. You know,
Mhm.
in the case that I'm going to be wearing my plate carrier, it's going to be a full kit scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah, you're not going half-ass for anything.
no,
it's all
exactly.
going on there.
And I'm also likely gonna not be by myself. You know, I'll probably be with you, with Jake. Like that's if I
Mhm.
have to go out somewhere in my kit for like an actual reason.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be by myself. You know, and so I definitely feel like I need to build my kit out for me and for other people. You
Mhm.
know, so I think that I'm gonna maybe try and find a different thing to put that IFAC in because I like having a big IFAC right there, and then I want to have another one
Mhm.
in that dangler there. I've seen a lot of people put them like underneath their arm right here, kind of on their cummerbund of their
Yeah.
carrier, and like on the opposite side of their sidearm. And so there's lots of different ways.
You just
to
gotta
do
think
it.
like in the terms of being able to get in and out of tight spots.
Exactly.
The least amount of stuff that's gonna hamper that. Catching on things and stuff for sure. Well,
Yeah.
That's dope.
So I would
it.
like something a little more compact to go on the back. I like that bag. I'll probably end up using. I'm building different medical kits like for our cars and shit like that.
Mhm.
So I'll build.
That's just smart right there.
Yeah. And so I'm building, and it's for everyone listening, right? This is like a tiny bit of a prepper thing, but also like a dad thing that I started doing this. The medical kits that we have in our cars, right? Not only do they have things for us, they have regular IFAC stuff. IFAC is an individual first aid kit, and so there are things like I have a bleed kit in that one on my kit, so there's like a tourniquet in there, and like combat gauze that has hemostats in it, things that can help me stop bleeding if I get shot or somebody else gets shot. That's part of that. There's also regular boo-boo kit stuff. So I have like Tylenol in there. I have Benadryl in there. I have some Band-Aids, like regular things, some finger splints in there, like some regular stuff. And so those are things that are also in the car ones. In the car one, I also have a dog medical kit.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There are different things that you need for your dog than you need for a person. Like a dog, you really shouldn't use a tourniquet on a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lots of people say they're like dog tourniquets that you could get and shit like that. Just doesn't work that good. There are different things you need for your dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Socks and shit like that are in there in case she gets something fucked up with her foot. Different like self-adhesive wrap is better for a dog than tape.
Yeah.
Because
Like vet wrap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I have different, in one section I have a dog kit, and then I have like a little boo-boo kit, and then I have trauma kit, and then I have just like general stuff. So just for anybody thinking about these things, they're definitely something to consider. The amount of times that I have had to use Band-Aids and even just antiseptic wipes and stuff like that when we've been out because Dax has fallen or the dog or something,
Yep.
Just I used to just carry Band-Aids in my wallet, which I used all the fucking time. And now all the time, especially at work and stuff like that. Use them all the time. Good like cloth Band-Aids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
With all the little nicks and stuff
Yeah.
that can happen.
In my backpack, I have like a bleed kit in there right now. Just a regular, just with like some hemostats and stuff like that. And so when I switch to a new thing on my belt, I'll probably take that kit, that black one, and put it in my backpack. So it has that little shoe compartment on the side. That's meant for like wet shoes.
Oh yeah, that's perfect for that.
I'll be putting my gun and shit in there.
Oh word.
It's so I can whip it right out around to the side, and it's fucking, I'll show everyone. It has this little,
Keep the wide frame on that.
yeah, this nifty pouch, and that's what I have.
Oh, that's
Just
such a
little
clutch
bleed
pouch.
kit in there. Yeah, just a little trauma kit. So I'd be fucking putting this in there.
Yep. Never
And
know
then
when
just
things are gonna go haywire, man.
Rocking with the one that you can
You
just
know? Drive by a car crash, people bleeding out. You can be like, I got this.
Exactly.
I'll save your life. It's not a big deal.
There's a dude that I found on Instagram, Skinny Medic. Shout out to Skinny Medic. That's just like his Instagram name. He's an EMT and works with SWAT also.
Ooh.
And he owns and hosts a website that's called Medical Gear Outfitters, that you can buy surplus and bulk medical gear from them. So I've got like a box of like 200 antiseptic wipes for like $20. Like you can get that type of stuff there to build out these kits for less money, and you can also buy fully built kits that they make. And so so I've bought most of this stuff from them. A lot of shit I got from fucking Rite Aid,
Oh,
a lot of stuff you can just get from Rite Aid and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's nice.
and-
Just pre-assembled kits like that.
Yes,
Get it and throw it in your car.
exactly. And
That's
so
just smart.
there are that, but you can also, if you go to like, they have a menu somewhere, but they have like bulk medical and components and shit like that. And so you can buy just huge bulk products and build your own medical kits.
Body armor plates.
Yes,
AR
body
500.
armor. Yeah.
Trauma plates.
And he, his tagline every time he makes a video is like, you never know when you're going to be the first responder, which is an insanely, especially for somebody who carries a firearm, the likelihood that I'm going to have to use a medical item is way higher than the likelihood that I'm going to have to use my firearm,
Yeah.
In all likelihood, I'll have to help somebody not die way before I have to try and put somebody down. You know what I'm saying? So I've shifted a lot of focus to that. Not that I'm not shooting. Obviously, I posted some videos yesterday. I'll post some more videos later this week. But
maybe that's going to be your new career path. Huh?
that's a big thing that I have focused on, is building things like that. Since I've been doing this, I also am and we'll end after this, I'm very disappointed with the lack of a surplus medical store. There is not a store that I can go to buy this stuff.
That's right.
Why isn't there a place that all of us can go to buy a box of 12 rolls of 3-inch gauze bandages?
Yep.
Why?
Or a box of ammonium inhalants
Why?
for if somebody passes out or something.
Do you know what I'm saying? Why is there not just a place I can go to buy all this stuff? For what reason?
Yeah, you could probably buy like a little bit of it, like a fraction of this at a pharmacy.
I've
but
gone
not...
to Walgreens, I've gone to Rite Aid, I've been to Walmart. I bought everything that I can there. But a lot of the stuff also you get there is not sterilized. It's not individually packaged. And if you're building a medical kit,
you need
that's something you need. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that you're not going to get an infection if you try and fix yourself. So
yeah, these are great. And they're very, very affordable. I mean,
yes.
Alcoholic prep pads, 100 count, less than $10. Adhesive, self-adhesive, sterile bandages, $5. You know, that adhesive tape for bandages, $10 for 6 rolls. I mean, all that. This is very, very affordable.
That's what I'm saying. I have bought
GearOutfitters.com.
Yeah, so 1,000% recommend them. Shout out to them. I have bought a shitload of stuff from them. Super cheap. It comes in like 2 days. The shipping is so fast from them. Yeah, and they have everything. Like they have full backpack kits that you can buy there. I mean, they have everything.
Trauma kits, response kits, small kits, big kits.
Mm-hmm.
That is money.
Yeah, they have all kinds of different medical kit stuff. Yeah, great stuff. Absolutely great things there.
Good for them.
Would recommend it to everybody who's trying to build anything like that, who's just looking for these are just regular everyday stuff you want to have at your house. Instead of buying a little box of alcohol prep pads, spend $10 and buy a $6 box of 100 online, pay $4 shipping, have it sent to your house.
Like you spend $150 on the home first aid kit. You're going to maybe use a quarter of the stuff that's in there. Exactly. And everything else is just really unusable.
Yeah.
And you're paying way more than you probably should.
Yeah. Wow. And in there you can just piecemeal it all together. Yeah, so I have a box, of stuff boxes of things that I've pulled pieces out of putting in there,
Good to have around. Heck yeah. I like it.
There you go.
Just bumping your friend stock price even higher.
That?
You're bumping your friend stock.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I've taken in the past, I took like emergency medical courses and like emergency first aid. So I have that knowledge. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit dusty. I would definitely do a refresher, when things open back up.
CPR
again.
Is always the big one because they change the guidelines for CPR constantly.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, which year did you learn? Okay, so you probably learned that method. Current method's this, that, It's wild. But yeah, your basic first aid stuff like combat first aid, that stuff never changes, which is really nice because that's the trauma that you're usually going to run into in, say, like a car crash or something like that. Or natural disasters. That's the kind of stuff you're mostly going to run into.
Simple things like learning a wound to pack and a wound to press. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just simple shit that like you're going to make that person really sick if you try and jam gauze into this wound.
Don't
really
do that.
Just put a pressure bandage on it and just call it good. Like just wrap it tight and move on. Don't try and.
It's like so he's got the gunshot hole, right? We just stuff it in there, right? That's how that works. Just take a tampon, stick it in there.
Just a tampon. That's
just
like
tampon. I mean,
they also make like suture kits and stuff like that, so you can learn to like do like stitches at home, like fake skin blocks and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, like a block with like 12 or 20 different types of cuts, jagged ones and like round ones and stuff like that. Wow. So you can try and learn to different stitches on different cuts that you might run into.
Interesting.
Very cool. I'm telling you,
cool.
The world of emergency preparedness at home is I didn't know that it existed like this.
You're right. I didn't know it went that hard. I'm glad that it does.
It's very cool. I'm a big fan of it. Yeah. So with that, we will end here. I want to thank everybody who joined us, obviously, on our YouTube, SOTS Streets. We didn't talk about any of this before. Share this. Tell everyone about it. Obviously, we're Shadow Band of Fox. So I hate it. Stephen Connor's always like, oh, there's people who would like to say they're Shadow Band, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, we're not lying to you. We're struggling out here. Help us. Help us grow.
Help us
reach other people. All we want is to share information. We absolutely share our opinions here. But if you've been watching 1 episode, 2 episodes, all 104 episodes we previously recorded, you know that here it's facts first. We want you to have the information. We're going to break it down and tell you what it means to us and the way that we're seeing it. But first, we're just going to give you the raw information, all the context that we possibly can. That's it. That's all we want. We just want people to understand. We just want people to have information so they can make their own decisions and be educated about it. With that, you can find us and our more, intimate opinions on, I almost said sensual, but that's not what I was looking for. Almost. On Twitter, I am at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram, and he is at Big Bird Offie on that. And Instagram, where I am at alpaca_Donovan. SOTS Street on Twitter.
Yeah.
Alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. SOTS Streets Instagram at SOTS Streets. Facebook at SOTS Streets. Facebook. SOTSstreets.com for all of this information. With that, we'll see you in a few minutes. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the 105 live stream. Episode 105.
That's a big one. Later, guys.
Peace. Thank you.
Ending live stream.